How close do you think Joe Biden is to doing a new deal with Iran? And I say this in the context that just a few days ago, the Iranians were firing missiles into Iraq quite close to an American consulate.
I'm afraid that they're very close. And it's a pity because this deal is a lot worse than the original deal. You know, they had this idea of taking the IRGC off the terrorist list, the IRGC being the military wing that does all the mischief you mentioned in the region. In exchange that the IRGC would promise not to continue to create chaos in the Middle East, to tone it down. But rather than seek a specific promise to do it on specific issues, whether it be Yemen or Syria or Lebanon, they left it vague because even though Michael Pence, who happened to be in the region, thought that there were specific things that they were trying to get the IRGC to agree to, but they left it vague. And this is how Iran has just walked over the P5+1. I've never seen such a one-sided negotiation in my whole life. It's unbelievable.
And is that why Boris Johnson got short shrift yesterday when he turned up in Saudi Arabia? And I mentioned the points earlier, but I'll repeat them. You know, number one, they carried out more executions, just after his plane had landed. Number two, he walked away empty-handed when it came to dealing with oil. And number three, they actually said, we're considering scrapping the US dollar and using the Chinese currency, which of course would be quite a chip away at the dollar's use as a reserve currency. Is that why Boris effectively had sand thrown in his eyes yesterday?
I agree with you that Boris didn't come back with what he hoped to come back. But I think from the Saudi point of view, and I want you to look at the way he sees not only Boris, but Biden, he's pretty upset. First of all, he's personally insulted. Whether or not you sympathize with him or not, you have to understand how important face is in that region. But the way he's been shunned as a result of the Khashoggi affair has been deeply humiliating to him. And Biden has to figure out a way to make amends so that they can get back to an even keel. Now, I think the idea I thought was that Boris would be kind of going there, having the handshake and opening the door to Biden visiting. I understand Blinken, the Secretary of State, is going to go see him next week or so. But the idea is we've got strategic interest in the Middle East, and Saudi is on our side strategically. Apart from all the human rights stuff you mentioned, which I fully agree with, they're on our side. Iran is not on our side. Iran, China, and Putin are not on our side. They seek to undermine the West. The Saudis are on our side. They're even calling Israel a friend, a potential ally. We should work to create that, to bring them into the Abraham Accords. And above all, we should persuade them to lower the price of oil. But right now, we've got to restore that balance with the Saudis. And I think Boris's trip was the first step in that direction.